Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Back with another episode of the Divine Awakening series. And I'm really excited today to have somebody who I was just recently connected with. And I was just so excited to have her on because her journey's been amazing. She has a lot that she can share. And yeah, it's been really powerful to see her journey and how that can be related back to myself. And I know that it'll help at least one of you anyway. And so, yeah, thank you, Sarah, who is from Home Temple. And thank you for being on here. And yeah, what is Home Temple?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me on because we met a few weeks ago at this amazing community event. And I'm just so pleased that you invited me to come on. And yeah, the Home Temple Company is an amazing company which allows people to clear the energy in their homes. And my journey has been sort of entwined with the Home Temple because in 2020 in lockdown, I did the house clearing course through the Starlight Temple and the beautiful Karila that I know some of you may know. And that was my sort of journey really into then helping Karila develop the Home Temple into what it is today as a sort of sister company to Starlight. And yeah, I was already on my journey. I'd been doing lots of healing. I'm a Reiki practitioner and a crystal healer, and I was looking for something else that I could add to my sort of offerings, really, to my clients. And yeah, that's how the Home Temple came about. And we now run online courses that are for 3 weeks so that people can actually learn how to clear the energy in their homes. And we've got people all over the world doing this. And we've also put together a practitioner's course where we've now training other people that perhaps haven't got the confidence to go and clear other people's homes. And it's just all coming together beautifully. It's really, really lovely. So yeah, it really helped me with my path and with my purpose.
And so, for those who are thinking, okay, so Home Temple, the
Yeah.
energy clearing of the home, can you break that down for someone who hasn't got a clue what
Yeah.
really the
So
energy is and how that actually works?
yeah, so in 2020, I my amazing homeopath said to me, "You need to do this course." And and I'm just using my own story here really to explain how it all happened. So I signed up to this course. A couple of people that I knew had done it, so I was like really, really curious. And the energy in my home wasn't feeling brilliant. I'd broken up with someone with a sort of fairly toxic relationship, and I'd been really, really like poorly as well. So I'd had adrenal fatigue, and I just felt like I needed to clear my home. Yeah, so I'd been really poorly, and I'm actually in remission. So I wasn't feeling great. I was stressed, single mum, bringing up the most incredible daughter, and I thought, right, what can I do to shift the energy in my home and to give me this purpose in my life that I know I had the calling, I had my guides around me. So I did the course and just fell in love with the process because you get a daily email. And I was like looking forward to my daily email. I was in lockdown. I wasn't doing much else at the time. My daughter was like, "Oh my God, Mum, what are you doing? This is all a bit witchy woo." And I was like, "Oh, I really love it." By the end of the course, she was doing it with me. We were putting down all of the blessings, clearing the energy in the home and finding the portals. And I was like tuning into the house. And for the first time, I had like divine conversation with my house.
Mm.
Um, you did a guardianship ceremony, and this was all channeled through Karila at Starlight. And that then just took me on a whole nother journey. So you get this daily email, you do the practice, you activate the tools, you do a guardianship ceremony. And I didn't really know what I was doing. And what was so brilliant is that you get held by other people. And of course, now I'm the one that's holding other people doing the course and channeling the remedies and the medicines that you put down. And you know what it's like when you go into someone's home and the energy feels good. So let's keep it really simple. And then in other houses, it can be a bit tricky. And I'm sure for the people that are watching this, they might just go, oh, there might be a bit of a corner over there that just is a bit stagnant. And sometimes, I don't know, you can dump stuff. You have a dumping area, or you have an area in your house where it feels a bit sticky, or it can be a bit moldy, or just doesn't feel quite right. Quite often that may be a negative portal, and then you'll have a positive portal, and what you need to do is let the energy flow through those portals. So you open them up and allow the energy to flow through by the channeled remedies and medicines. And what it does is it brings in so many other modalities. So there's quite a lot of shamanic stuff, because some people will get their drum out. There's saging. The thing about saging is, I'm sure a lot of you sage the energy in your home. We all love a bit of sage, and we have incense and we put candles on, and we might get our crystals out. But what we need to do is charge that up, because when you sage, it's a bit like putting a plaster over a cut. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And, if you've got the trapped energy, the saging might do something. You might do a bit of drumming, you might do a bit of tinging, whatever it is that you're into. And that's what I was doing. But I was like, something else needs to shift. And not only did it shift the energy in the house, it really helped me and helped clear my illnesses, really.
Wow.
As well. And it got my daughter on this amazing path of really manifesting what she wants. So, because you set brilliant intentions, it just gives you, it's a bit like having a checkup. I really don't like doctors. I like to do things alternative, but it's a bit like having a bit of a checkup of your body, like taking your blood pressure, might be. Finding out what bits of your areas of your your bodies are stuck. And that's what you're doing. You're tuning into your home and becoming guardians. And it's whether you've got a room, whether you've got a house, whether you've got a camper van, whatever it is, it will work. Because again, the universe, Mother Gaia, is so happy that we're doing this, that they'll assist you. And I just couldn't believe it when I started doing it, because I was like, oh my God, I was feeling the guides. I had like this beautiful like mermaid energy coming in. I was linking into a beach that I'd been to in Cyprus that's really spiritual. And I ended up naming the house. And, just all of the things that you think, I hadn't really thought about. So I'm trying to keep it really simple, but it is a simple process, because if you follow the process, and what happens is that if you do the course, the person that's holding the course, the practitioner, and you will work together, but they will download the medicines. And I was thinking, oh my God, what? I can remember you had to get like sand. I can remember in lockdown going over to a golf course and getting sand to put sand in my trays, because you get these trays and you put the trays down, and there was things like tobacco, and I think there was some blocked up energy, so I had to put albus oil around. I'm really into my homeopathy, so some of the remedies were coming through. And once I did that in my own home, I set up an altar blessing. I always knew that I had an area that I wanted to sort of like meditate in, and what that turned into was a great place to manifest as well. And the positive portal was in my daughter's room, and the negative portal was split. So I had to bring the split back together. And one of them was in my room under my bed. And that, when I moved to that house, it was when I got ill, when things happened. So I started to then study. Am I talking too much?
No, carry on.
I started to look at things like geopathic stress, feng shui, all of these other modalities. And I turned into a bit of a geek about it. So the practitioners course that we do, we get people coming on to talk about feng shui, because it's very different from feng shui. But what you find is, once you clear your house, and then I started to clear others, people start to declutter. Yeah, people start to get rid of the stuff that they don't need and create the flow in their house, like opening your door and letting the energy flow through. There's all of these little things that we know, but we don't do. But the house is like, thank you so much, you're doing this, but also you're activating your path. You know, it's just great. And what I loved about it is, once I then did the clearing of my own home, people were like coming round, and I was holding women's groups. I was living in Surrey at the time. My poor mum, I was sort of caring for my mum. I was in the corporate world. I'm a learning and development consultant as well, but I don't want to be doing that. You know, if I do anything, I work in a lot of schools, and quite often I'll go into the school and I'll clear that space before I do anything. But I help people grow and develop. So I was like, oh my God, I can use my new skills to help people. And you know, over the years, I've worked for the government, for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and it always felt a bit sticky. So I've got to be careful what I say here, but yeah, I did quite a lot of crisis management. So it's like people and energy, and I'm doing less and less of that and doing more and more of the healing. And what I found is that the Reiki healing that I was doing then developed into something far greater. So the energy in my home when people were coming for healing, like, exaggerated that as well. So this is why I think, if anybody is doing any type of healing work, spiritual work, you know, we need to call in protection. We all know that. But when your house is clear, and it may just need a bit of a zhuzh, you know, it may not be really negative. It just needs, sometimes some people's houses just need like that extra energy, that extra activation.
And when you do that, like you say, it just needs to, like, say it could be one area in the house.
Yeah.
George, is that where you're tuning in and getting the guidance to say this is what needs to happen?
Yeah.
Or do
but
they
I would still do a proper clear, you know? I would still do the process, whether it needs a lot or it isn't. It just takes longer. So I mean, it was brilliant because people were coming around to my house. I was holding these healing groups. And then through lockdown, I was having people around at my house, and they were like, oh my God, I'm like seeing so much more. I feel more connected. And it became a really beautiful sanctuary for people to come and to be. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got to start clearing other people's houses. So then I'd practice. So before I started charging, I did a couple, and I would message Karila and say to Karila, I'm going to go and do someone's house. What do you think? And she said, well, you can do it. You can do it. And I would say to her, let me just, when I started charging people, I'd say, look, well, perhaps I'll put a charge in case I need you to help me. But after I did like a couple, I didn't need her. Actually, I don't think I ever paid her, because I just knew what I was doing. And I mean, it was brilliant because I also got money coming in. So the course that I paid for, within a couple of months, I got that back and even more. And then people were recommending me. So then I'd go to someone's house, and then my healing clients, I'd say to them, God, something feels a little bit stuck. What's going on? I don't know, by the stairs on the left-hand side, for example. And they go, oh, that energy really doesn't feel great. So then I would say to them, well, you can either do the course or I can come and we can do it together. And that just gave me more and more confidence, because the healing then that I was doing, where there was still stagnant energy in the body, the energy in the house was helping clear that as well.
Yeah. So good.
And it's magical. I think, yeah, it's simple. It's a simple process, but you've got to commit to it, like anything, and you've got to set really clear intentions.
Yeah.
You know, that is one of the things that I always ask. And I think if you're in at home, you know, there was a couple of people and they were like, oh my God, my partner won't get this. And I said, well, we need everyone to like really be on board. So tell them what you want, but ask for their permission.
Yeah.
And how do they? And I think when I met you in that little community temple, which is a beautiful space, I think I asked, how do you want to feel in your home? Yeah. And, you know, what do you want your home to bring you? And that's, I think, really, really important. We don't really think about it.
No, we really don't. And we might like think, okay, it's tidy, I've like decluttered, but there's something off and we're not sure what it is. And it's, yeah, there's energy is like everything's energy, isn't it? So it's so important to look at the energetics of things as well. And
yeah,
you know, we say about our spiritual hygiene and the energy of our body, but it's everywhere. It's like I've just had my mentoring session and we looked at the energy around my business.
Yeah.
And so it's the same as your home, right? And so, so would you say this has been one of your like divine awakenings? That,
definitely.
Yeah.
Because what it did is that I cleared the energy in my home. I felt so much better. I healed better because I was in remission. My daughter like completely got it, and we were literally in her room. I haven't got my wands here. I've got selenite wands, and I'm like, with, you know, literally calling in what we want, you know. And she got, because it was that lockdown time, she didn't do her exams. She was doing her A levels, and she got the grades that she wanted. She got the university that she wanted. She then, wherever she went, said, Mum, we cleared her room in the hall of residence when she got there for like protection and love and everything. Then when she moved to her next house, the girls who she's still really good friends with, we cleared the energy in the student, because I went in there and I was like, my God, this is a really great space, but the energy's really off. And the people that had been living there the year before had a bit of drama and trauma. And the neighbours, I mean, it was just fascinating. There was lovely two girls living next door, and I said, there's something going on, like there's a bit of a rip between the house here and the house next door. And I said, have you met them yet? And as I walked out, they came out and I went, oh, hello, nice to meet you. Natalia said, oh, we've just moved in next door. And I said, oh, I'm just clearing some of the energy. And they went, oh my God, we've got some dark energy literally here. And I said, can I come in? And they had crystals everywhere. They saged. And anyway, they ended up clearing their place, so that the whole energy and this cracked negative energy that was there was really, really cleared. So yeah. And then they moved again. And by this time, the girls, there was only 3 of them. There was 6 of them together. Then there was 3 of them living in this beautiful flat. And they were like writing intentions. They were writing down what they wanted to achieve. They wanted to travel. They've all gone traveling together. You know, it's just, you know, if anything's a bit sticky anywhere with relationships, it really helps. Another one of my friends was really not getting on with her husband. She had floods going on in her house. We cleared the energy there, and everything, like, it just lifts. Like, she was like, right, I said, what do you want? She said, I need them to fix the drain outside, but the council have said it's never going to clear. We haven't got the money. It's going to take 5 years. Within about a month of clearing the energy in the house, they went and fixed this drain that was, they literally had to move out of their house 3 times because it was flooding.
Wow.
So
It's working
it's,
with the portals then. So you're working with the portals,
yeah,
changing them to be positive, and then you're using that energy, what, to manifest what you want.
yeah, well, the negative and positive. So there's, every house has a negative and positive portal.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're split, sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's different things going on. Sometimes you're supposed to be in that house and there's like an angel portal, or there's something else. So I'm just thinking, for some of your viewers that are really open to all of this, they're probably, so they're probably in the right place at that time. Because when you locate those portals and you make sure that they're not sticky or stagnant and they're open, then the energy will flow through them.
Ah, I get you. So always
Yeah.
positive and negative, right?
Yeah, there's always a positive and negative. And then quite often you'll find in people's houses that there's other little elements that are going on. But then you tune into that. But it's fascinating, because when you're working with someone, you'll do a tune-in with them, and we do an exercise, and this is all done through an email. It's really beautiful. They do an exercise where they go round and actually locate where their portals are. And I would say nearly 10 out of 10 times, everyone has the ability to do it. They just don't have the confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is downloading. I mean, I started with the house clearing course, and then in the November of that year of 2020, I did the channeling course with Karila and Through Starlight, and then that just magnified everything. I had it all there, but then I could download channel really quickly, and I was just trusting that whatever it was that was coming through is exactly what was meant to be in the trays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've all got the ability to channel, haven't
Yeah.
we? Open ourselves up to that and
Yeah.
trusting that as well, because we can think our mind's making stuff up, right? So it's so
Yeah.
easy to doubt.
Yeah.
So would you say, what would be the one pinpoint that you could say for yours from your own experience when you shifted from deciding to do your own, doing the course and clearing your own home? What was the
Yeah.
key thing that you shifted and changed your life in that? What was that pivotal divine awakening?
Well, I'd always been into holistic and alternative. I think probably nearly dying. I had
Okay,
that,
that'll do it.
I was like, I was a single mum. I was always like working really hard to like pay for everything and do everything. And that led to adrenal fatigue, and I got a tumor in my kidney and on my adrenal, and I was really poorly. So I was really poorly, and then they found that it was a bizarre, it was the universe basically waking me up. And I'd been playing with spirituality, I suppose, but never really having that real clarity. And I think, yeah, the year before I did the house clearing with that, and then the pivotal moment of being in divine conversation with my house.
And you feel that helped heal you?
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, because it shifted the energy that was gripping the house. And we all know, well, some of you know about ley lines. There was like literally with the geopathic stress as well, like I moved my bed. And there was some, I then went and cleared some of the energy around the land around my house as well. And I think that really helped shift it. And I love doing land work. I mean, it's just something that I really, really love. So, the land work sort of comes from having the energy right in your own home as well. So yeah, really not being well and just connecting to source through the house clearing. Definitely.
It's so powerful, isn't it? When we just surrender and just follow the path and just the little steps that are nudging us. Like you know, sometimes there's these little nudges that our souls calling us to take this step, and it might not
Yeah,
be based on logical reason. Like you think this is really woo-woo, why am I doing it? You can't
yeah,
understand, but you're being pulled to it. And
yeah,
you know, there's many divine awakenings we have along our journey, right? And it's all leading us to our soul purpose, and it's taking,
yeah.
you know, you had no expectation around this was going to lead to, you know,
No,
where you are now. And
yeah,
so even if we try and figure it out, it'll never be
no,
what soul spirit has in store for us, because
yeah,
it is always going to be beyond our wildest dreams. And that's available for all of us, right? Would you say?
yeah. We've just got to, and we've got to, like you say, we've got to open our hearts to it.
Mm,
You know, come out of our heads, open our hearts, and just be in that moment.
yeah.
And yeah, if someone had said to me from doing the Make Your Home a Temple course that I would now be working with Karila and Cash and part of the Starlight Temple team, because I space hold on channeling courses and body love, you know, I'm working with the most incredible people.
Mm,
And I'm so blessed because I've got my Surrey tribe, which is where I was living. I wanted to get out of that whole living in Surrey, the rat race, what car you wear, what car what car you're driving. I didn't want to be part of
mm,
that.
mm,
And I manifested moving by the sea. I'm in Worthing and I absolutely love it. Again, that was just happened. You know,
mm,
it just happened. And I'm really, really lucky that I've got community. I've got my Surrey tribe with my homeopath and the amazing Kathy Mingo, who really is just incredible. And I've got my beautiful Starlight tribe. And now we've got the Home Temple tribe,
mm,
um, because you know, we've got the practitioners, and I'm getting together with the practitioners tomorrow. We have a little check-in, and you know, we're at the pivotal point really of the business. We need more people to know about us. And
mm,
you know, I'll put my hand on my heart. You know, we're not great at social media and you know all of these things, but we're getting there. And
yeah,
I feel like when the time is right, more and more people are finding us. You
yeah.
know, and yeah, it's you know, I really feel that my purpose is to help support and grow people so that they can tap into their own
Mhm.
power. It is
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
I'm not going to be, I mean, yeah, some people go, I don't like the word power, but it's power in a magical, like literally knowing that we all have this and helping people develop and grow. And I still do some lovely healing clients as well. Some people have followed me and, you know, I get together with them and yeah, it's just knowing that if you can just support people to find that energy from within and connect below and above and trust the signs, because we get all the signs but we don't trust them, do we, you
Don't
know?
trust them. And what would you say before you obviously got that little nudge from your homeopathy? Was it saying
Yeah,
you need to do this
from yeah,
course?
so the
What were
my
you getting
amazing
before that?
homeopath that I'm in tribe with, I mean they're incredible.
Mm,
And that's grown as well, and we get together and do some amazing stuff, and a lot of land work as well with Karila. So yeah, it's like if someone had I love crop circles. So the Surrey tribe have got me, like, you know, I always knew about stone circles, but like we go to Avebury, we go and help clear the land there, we've climbed up Silbury Hill, um, you know, all of these amazing things. Like I'm so excited that it's going to be crop circle season, you know, whether they're man-made or whether they're not man-made.
yeah.
Again, my knowledge of all of these things has expanded so much.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably because you've opened yourself up to like
yeah,
be a conduit of the divine. And that's what
yeah,
I experienced. The more you just trust, surrender, and you literally knowing who you are, which is love, you open up to more of that, which is
yeah,
God
yeah,
creator,
yeah,
however you know,
yeah,
you connect in. And so
yeah.
this is it. This is what with one of my courses, how to harness your intuition, is how can you spot the signs? Like
Mm.
what is the signs telling you? So what would you say the signs particularly were for you leading up way before you got that sign to say do the course? Were there or the
Yeah.
signs that you ignored that you wish you didn't,
Oh
or
my gosh. Yeah, there was loads of signs, and especially in my home, because I wasn't sure that this was the right home, and I think this is about listening. I mean, that wasn't a sign, but I just felt like the energy was probably a bit off. But at the time, it's where the only place that I could really afford to live with my daughter. And then, yeah, I kept it was mermaids, because I had this beautiful Serena Bay moment, which is this beach that I connected with in Cyprus, where I saw loads of mermaids. So I would see fish and mermaids and anything to do with the ocean. It's probably why I live by the sea. It's probably why I live by that. I needed to live by the sea. And you were like, well, what's that about? What's that about? And then when I tuned into the house, and I was like, oh my God, I've got this beautiful Serena, feminine, sort of mermaid energy. And then she started coming through more and more. When I did the channeling course, she was like one of my main guides. And I still call her in, So yeah, at the time. And going for walks, like, there's signs everywhere. In nature. Yeah, it's the signs and synchronicities, numbers. 222 is my number. And you start seeing your numbers everywhere, or whatever it might be. And sacred geometry, I love sacred geometry. And again, I didn't really know much about it. But I think, when you look at nature and you see the sacred geometry and things, I think you can really bring that into the energy of your home as well. And copper, and, I now really understand, like little top tips, like having a bit of copper at the bottom of your bed. When people come and stay with me, I put them in a crystal grid. It's just like, right, come and, like, again, I like to nurture and mother, and I'm like, right, let's get off your phone. I'm going to run you a lovely bath. Put you in a crystal grid. Come and book in. It's like, but it's like, these are the things that help you stop. You mentioned the word spiritual hygiene, and that's really important, that you're not, all of those things, like even in your car. How does the energy feel in your car? Are you stressed? Are you always running late? All of those things. Get in the car, be in divine conversation, call in protection for your journey.
Yeah, which is what I do when I do long journeys, but I don't tend to do it on short journeys, because I'm probably in a rush, or do the school run or things like that. And I think it just invites us to just slow down. And we're always like, we'll just always try to do the next thing, and just take a minute and just connect in is really powerful. And one of the things is, like, we can say, oh, we're not connected, or we don't have guidance. Like, that connection to source, God, creator, is always there. It never left you. It's part of you, but you left it.
Definitely.
As soon as you go into your mind, you go in the past, you go in the future, you're the one choosing to leave. God never left you. And that's one thing that is just a reminder for people. Like, it's like, oh, he's forsaken me, or things like that. And it's like, no, that just doesn't happen. So would you say that you had these elements of spirituality? And I don't even like to label it spirituality, because it's just who we are, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but would you have, when you was a child, like your upbringing, or was you just a normal
Oh my
kid?
God, no. I mean, I was brought up, with my mum and dad. I lived in Surrey, but I always knew I wanted to travel and have adventure. So I did quite a lot of that. But I suppose I had a bit of a sixth sense, but I didn't, I always liked to be out in nature. I was always the one that wanted to, like, we had some woods across the way, and back then, because I'm probably a bit older than some of you, but back then you could go out for hours and you didn't have any mobile phones to bring you back. But I'd literally go into the woods and probably ground without even realizing it. But yeah, I mean, we're so programmed, aren't we, to do what we feel's right, that, you know, it's about being brave and courageous, isn't it? And I think that whatever age you are, it really doesn't matter. It's like when the time is right, we've got to step out of the norm, and it's okay to be different. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why, you know, I needed to move away. I needed to like get away perhaps from some of that energy, like the Surrey energy. For many of you that's from Surrey, there's nothing wrong with it. But, you know, that whole like energy around there just felt a little bit stagnant, and I did clear quite a lot of energy there, but like I just wanted to feel like there's no judgment. You can be who you are, you know, if you want to chant and dance and do whatever it is, that there isn't any judgment. And I think we're so programmed and repressed in a lot of areas that people quite often have this, oh, can I do this, can I not do it, you know, until that time is right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
might be you've just generally outgrown that area, and obviously being near the sea, we're constantly, when we choose to really embody more of who we are, we're shifting, we're guiding, and you know that voice, our soul, it's very quiet, it's a whisper, isn't it, really? When we get these little nudges, sometimes we think we're going to get this big, like, you know, sign, and sometimes you might do that, but like, you have to start with, it's listening to those little whispers, like, you know, you moving where you move to, and you know, doing the course. And if because people can tell you to do things all the time, like, oh, why don't you do that? And you've got to feel into it, haven't you? Because they could have just been another thing, and you and it might not have been aligned, but you listened to that, you tuned in, and you knew, okay, this feels right.
And the thing is, it's like, it's listening, it's really opening up to listen, because then you're called to do something and the time is right. And we need to listen. We need to listen to our bodies. We need to listen and really and listen to the guides into the universe. And you know, it's all there within. Everything is there within. But when someone's continue to tell you to do something, it has to be, you have to be called, and it has to be in joy. You know, it's all about joy. We need more joy. We need to be doing things every day to call that joy in.
Exactly. It's like, how does it make you feel?
How are you feeling, and how's the energy in your home feeling, and how's the energy around you feeling? So, you know, it's about putting your protection around there, having your boundaries, you know, doing the things that really make you feel like magic.
And somebody who's listening is thinking, you know, I'm feeling there's something in my home right now. They might not be able to connect with you to get you to do a clearing, but if they just want to do one thing that's going to maybe help them, that they can take away and take action on, what would you say that would be?
I would say start having conversations with your home.
Right.
Like when you walk in the door, you know, like you would do, like if someone was in there, just say, thank you, home, for looking after me, for keeping me safe, for, you know, and just start having a little conversation. You know, what can I do? What can I do differently to make this feel a comfortable place? And you'll start getting the guidance. You know, and I think the guardianship, you know, so many people, and I didn't do this until I started doing the course, but like the guardianship's so important, because like what you're doing is saying, okay, I'm here, Sarah, I'm here, and I'm going to be living in this space. You know, you can literally just say that. And I'd really, really like you to keep me safe and keep me grounded. So you're setting that intention. And then as you're walking around, you might then go, I'm looking around here now, you might just go, oh, how does the energy feel in that corner? And you might just, I don't know, get a wand or some incense, and just like you would do when you're giving your house a clean. You know, like sometimes I'm not very domesticated, but actually when the house is clear, you want to keep your house clean.
You
Do you know
feel
what I mean?
different, don't you? Like I
And
say
you
to my
feel
daughter,
different.
yeah, all the time, like, how did your bedroom feel when it's messy? When it was
Yeah,
tidy, how did it make you feel? It's really
yeah,
weird. So like,
yeah,
and then she'll do it. It's like, oh, it feels so good. She's so happy when
yeah,
her bedroom's tidy and clear off the floor. Like, so I'm
yeah,
teaching her, feel the
yeah,
difference in the energy, and she
yeah,
knows, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Does
brilliant.
that make sense? And lots of us have got crystals everywhere. I mean, I've got crystals everywhere. I mean, just coming onto this meeting today, I've always got a golden healer. I've got my Lemurian quartz. You know, if I'm on a meeting,
Yeah,
I always have a bit of shungite or tourmaline or something like
yeah.
that. So I'd have crystals in my home and they just sit there.
I
So
was just
one,
literally about to ask you about crystals and where you put them in your homes. They're
so
great.
so one of the things you can do, it's not really about where, but ask your house where they need to be. You know,
Mm,
don't just have them on show or collecting dust. And
yeah.
also, you can attune the crystal into clearing the energy in that area. And it doesn't,
Mm,
you know, I think we all get so, what does that crystal mean? You know, this is this, this is that, this is what it's going to do for you. But actually, we've all got the ability to tune into that crystal and to help the crystal clear the energy in the home as well. You
mm,
know, if something, or if you've had a row with your partner or your child, you know, clear that energy so it doesn't, because we repeat the same patterns.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
would
if
that
you,
look like then? Clearing that, what would that look like?
well, yeah, you could literally just go, right, can we stop having this argument that keeps coming up? And you ask it to go, you ask it to change.
Okay.
um you know, and clear the direction. Again, I love a bit of drumming. I put
Mm,
frequency music on. I got all the different
mm,
hertz frequencies.
mm,
um you can, again, with a crystal, you can go, right, can you dissolve that negative energy, you know?
yeah, great.
um and
Yeah.
feng shui helps with that as well, you know, having plants that are growing and not having any plastic plants or plastic flowers. You know,
Mm,
opening the doors, opening the windows, letting that energy flow away. So these are all just little top tips. And you can do that instantly. But what powers it up even more is when
mm,
you've got your negative and positive portals cleared,
mm,
because it takes that energy without you having to do it. So what it does is it makes everything so much easier, because once you've cleared that, it will hold the energy, and you put the crystals in the portals. There's like an abundance, calling an abundance. There's this amazing, I'm just thinking of when I did it. I was always financially, had lack,
mm,
and I'd always be trying, oh my God, how am I going to pay this bill? I'd get in a state with the letters coming through the door. And there's this brilliant exercise that Karila had downloaded from the Tribe of the Car about making up with money. And that's included in the course. And I remember thinking, oh, this will take me about an hour. And I was literally sitting in a grid by my blessing portal, thinking of all the times that money had just gone, or I hadn't been wise with money. So
mm.
there was like a big, like, making up with money. And actually, once you've made up with money, you can then call more in, you
Yeah.
know?
We've got to
So
look at that
there's all these
relationship to it,
lovely
haven't
extra
we?
things. So I'm
Mm,
just trying to say, you can do some of these instant fixes,
yeah.
but again, it won't last
Yeah.
for that time.
The
So
pasta you were talking about, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 um and yeah, sage and clear. Yeah, there's so many different remedies that
Mm,
come through.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, sometimes if you're living in a home that's been knocked about,
Mm,
or it's been extended, you know, the house will be like, what are you doing? It's a bit like the house, if it's a living energy,
mm,
something's been chopped off. So quite often, if that's happened, like, you can do like binds. And again, it's just like healing the fascia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, without it being too complicated, because the remedies are downloaded, and if you do what you need to do, you need to leave them down for like 24 hours. And it's incredible how the energy shifts. So you do a clearing day and you do a blessing day where you're calling in lots of the energy. And there's like a couple of tune-ins, like, you know, we'll really tune into the home when we're holding the course, just to make sure that the house is feeling okay. I did one recently with a really beautiful lady in America who's an interior designer and a Reiki healer. And she's going to start doing like interior design around the energy in the home. And it was really beautiful. And yeah, it's just, again, it's given her the confidence. You know, I said, look, reach out to me. You know, we're all here to help people grow and develop. And, you know, we just need more people. Everybody, like, and it's not just your homes, like halls, you know, when there's like loads of kids in a party and then something happens, or, you know, hospitals, you know, I've lost both my parents. God, and like, I literally did the energy, luckily with my mum. I literally was like, she's going to go in that room and that's where she's going to go. And I wrote down the day that, because she really wanted to die. She had really bad dementia. She wasn't well. She kept asking me, please, can you let me go? So I did this whole thing in the hospital. Hospital. I had a Chris. They were like, what am I doing in there? And what was amazing, that my dad didn't want to go that night. My sister wasn't really around anyway. And it was just me and my mum. And I was like, right, tonight's the night. And I called everything in my power. And I'd never have had the confidence to do anything like that.
And, you know, it might seem a little bit woo-woo calling everything in, but we're calling in our angel, the guides, like they're connected with us, like their
ancestors. I was calling in. Sorry to interrupt, but I was like asking her parents and her ancestors, please come and take her. And like the next day, there were like nurses going like that come onto the shift. I went up and gave them some and it was right. I mean, we couldn't have done it at home, but I went up and gave them some flowers and some things, and they were like, we can't believe she's gone. You know, we thought she'd be going into like a home or something. And I was like, she didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't say, well, I'd actually written the date down last week.
And because the way you did that, and you obviously you assisted really in your mum transitioning to the other side, which is basically she's going back home. How did that help you dealing with your grief? Did it?
Oh God, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Because we can hold on to grief and we can stay with us, and it can really like come in waves, can't it? But obviously when we have a more of an awareness around what's going on and we're aiding, and it's obviously it's going to help deal with that and manage that so much better.
And of course, you know, I'm a great believer, when your time is up, your time is up. But if you can like assist that in some way, it's really powerful. It's really and it's magic. You know, it's magic.
Because I'm a doula, birth and postnatal doula.
Are you?
I really, at the bit like death doula has been really fascinates me, because I kind of, you know, it's not, we're going back home, like, you know, this is just where we are right now. It's just a blip of a journey. Like my guides keep saying to me, this is a game, like you've woken up within the game. And they show me and say to me that, you know, you were a character in the game. You didn't know you were a character in the game. You know that you're the one who's got the controlling the character. And so we start to really see things that this is just a blip, and the true home is when we go to the other side. So like we're dreaming in a dream. It's fascinating stuff, really, but we chose here to forget to enjoy being a human, right?
Definitely.
So
and I'm just so grateful that I did it, because you know, I met the most beautiful people that helped and supported me through all of that. And losing both mum and my dad in the last few years, you know, I've had some incredible guidance. And, you know, this course, Make Your Home a Temple course, was downloaded through Karila, through the guides, you know, the Tribe of the Car. And it just brings in so many elements of ancient ancestry, you know. And I went to Bali last year. My daughter went traveling around Southeast Asia, and I've always wanted to go to Bali. And I just found it so fascinating because the offerings that they give, and I made offerings with people, and they were like the local people were like, oh my God, you can, you know, like you've got this energy and this power. And it was just really, you know, there's so many, you know. And I also, you know, that Hindu and the Buddhist cultures, you know, and the shamanic, we quite often get quite a lot of people that clear their houses, you know, using the shamanic way as well, which is incredible. But the two together really, you know, again, really help. It's good.
I'm feeling the call to go to Bali. I'm going to go next year. So
it's really good. It's really good. But I mean, everywhere is amazing, but it was just, I was like, well, they're basically giving offerings every day.
It's just part,
you know,
of their life.
It's part of their life. And this is why we need to put offerings into our home.
I totally agree. And you know, when people are moving houses, you know, they should, well, ideally focus on the energies of the house, and that should be the first thing. Like I said to my friend, get your sage out, clear the, you know, but obviously going another level to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Just bringing this awareness to people and understanding the importance of it. Like, you know, our spiritual hygiene is important. The hygiene of the home energetically is just as important. So but this has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of, you know,
hopefully I haven't spoken too much. I'm really
this is an opportunity for me to be quiet and for you to share your journey. And you know, obviously you've gone through a lot of your own journey with your health issues, and but it's all been part of your path. But the resilience, I can feel your nature energy, which is really lovely. And you just want to be in service now because you're aligned to your purpose. And that's really evident. And we start shifting into how can we be more in service when we definitely more aligned to that frequency and that energy. So, and if people would like a clearing from you, like how can they reach you?
Okay, so they can have a look on our website, which is the Home Temple Company, and I'll put the details, I'll send them to you so you can put them up. And have a look at that. We are just sorting out our social media, so they could start following us as well on Instagram. And I think really, come and have a look at the website. You can look at the 3-week course. And I'm just thinking that if anybody does want to do the 3-week course, go on the website, and what we'll do is we'll give you a discount for like any of your YouTube followers. And you know, or always reach out, you know, send us an email. All our details are on there. If people want to know any more, they want to speak to me about the course, I think it's really important for people to communicate, really. So just give me a call or send me an email. And you know, my goal is that we've got like-minded people with their houses clear that will strengthen and activate their paths. I've got this sort of vision. When I tune in, I have these like little gold like threads, you know, all around the globe. And we've got people from all over the world that have done it because it's an online course. But I just feel it would be brilliant, you know, to have more and more of these beacons of light, because what it does is it helps the collective. And Mother Gaia, they just love it. They're like, yes, someone else is doing it, you know.
Well,
It's
yeah,
really good.
it's a ripple in the collective consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like we're all just helping each other. So one
yeah,
person does the clearing, it can impact everybody else. And more, it should
yeah,
just be a way of life. That's what it should be. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this is what we do when we go into whatever it is, hospitals, buildings, whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing. I think it's going to really help a lot of people. It's definitely helped me, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's really great. Well, yeah, thank you so much, and I hope everybody here has found this useful. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be getting hopefully more of these Divine Awakening series up, because I feel like, yeah, I've been guided to keep going with them, and I know
It's
they're going to help
brilliant.
people as well. So we're all just supporting each other, right? So
Yeah,
that's why we're here this lifetime, to bring each other home. So
yeah.
okay, thanks everybody, and have a blessed day.